Three African tribes are doing things the human body shouldn't survive, and scientists still can't fully explain how. Scattered across the savannas, mountains, and deserts of Africa live three tribes whose bodies do things the rest of the human species is physically incapable of, and what scientists found when they finally studied them has shattered some of the most fundamental rules in all of human biology. One tribe survives on a diet so loaded with fat and cholesterol it should clog their arteries and kill them young, yet their hearts stay clean. Another, a tiny population most of the world has never heard of, produces the greatest distance runners in human history, generation after generation, in numbers that defy every law of chance. And a third still hunts the way our ancestors did 2 million years ago, chasing antelope across the open desert in 40-degree heat, until the animal collapses dead from exhaustion. These aren't legends. These are documented, peer-reviewed facts about living people. And the deeper researchers dug, the more they had to admit the explanation is still being debated decades later. Share this with everyone you know, because these three peoples, the Masai of Kenya and Tanzania, the Kalenjin of Kenya's Rift Valley, and the San Bushmen of the Kalahari, prove something the modern world has forgotten. The human body is not one fixed machine with one set of limits. It is soft clay, still being reshaped by the harshest environments on Earth into forms that look almost superhuman. We think evolution stopped with our distant ancestors. These three tribes are living proof it never stopped at all. Before we break down exactly what scientists found inside each of these tribes, and why it forces a complete reconsideration of what the human body can do, make sure you subscribe to Vault of Discovery. We're giving you the real science that rewrites the textbooks. Let's start with the tribe that breaks the most famous rule in modern medicine. Eat too much fat and cholesterol, and it will kill your heart. The Masai are a pastoralist people of Kenya and Tanzania, and for centuries their traditional diet has been built almost entirely around their cattle, milk, blood, and meat. By the numbers, it's a cardiologist's nightmare. The average Masai man consumes as much as 2,000 milligrams of cholesterol a day, with roughly 66% of his calories coming from fat, levels that in a typical Western body would mean clogged arteries and an early heart attack. Think about what this actually means. By every rule of modern nutrition, the Masai should be dropping dead of heart disease. Instead, they're the opposite. In 1960, Vanderbilt researcher Dr. George Mann found Masai warriors had some of the lowest cholesterol levels ever recorded, averaging around 135 milligrams per deciliter, lower than the average American on a far leaner diet. A survey of 400 Masai men found little or no evidence of atherosclerotic heart disease at all. The contradiction was so violent it became known as the Masai paradox, argued over in nutrition science ever since. But here's the first shocking twist. Scientists assumed the Masai simply burned it all off through their active lifestyle. The truth was stranger, and it was in their genes. Cholesterol challenge studies in the 1970s showed that when fed even more cholesterol, the Masai body actively suppressed its own production to keep blood levels stable, a regulatory system most humans don't have. And when researchers scanned the Masai genome, they found the smoking gun, signatures of natural selection on a cluster of genes called CYP3A, directly involved in cholesterol metabolism. The Masai appear to have genetically evolved a defense against their own extreme diet, a biological firewall that lets them eat what should kill them and walk away unharmed. And then it got stranger, because the second tribe doesn't break the rules of the heart. It breaks the rules of human performance itself. On the western rim of Kenya's Great Rift Valley live the Kalenjin, who have achieved something that should be statistically impossible. They make up only around 10 to 12% of Kenya's population, yet this single small group has produced an estimated 70% or more of Kenya's greatest distance runners, and Kenya has dominated global distance running for half a century. It gets more extreme. Within the Kalenjin, a sub-tribe called the Nandi makes up only about 3% of Kenya's population, yet produces nearly half of all the Kenyan distance runners who compete internationally. Scientists call it a unique phenomenon in the entire world of sport. Think about how staggering that is. Imagine one small town producing most of the planet's chess grandmasters, generation after generation. When scientists examined the Kalenjin, they found bodies physically built for endurance, lean frames, long, slender legs, and unusually thin ankles and calves. That detail isn't cosmetic, it's physics. Your leg swings like a pendulum, and the less weight you carry down at the ankle, the less energy it takes to swing it. Across the tens of thousands of strides in a marathon, that gives the Kalenjin a fundamentally superior running economy, the holy grail of endurance performance. Then came the second devastating revelation. Scientists wanted to know, is it just training? Just a hard rural childhood? So they tested it. Untrained Kalenjin village boys were put through 12 weeks of training, then raced against Danish boys with the same raw aerobic engine. The Kalenjin boys ran significantly faster, despite running at the same percentage of their maximum, their bodies simply more economical, getting more speed from every drop of oxygen. These were untrained village boys already outperforming their European counterparts after a single season. Scientists are honest that it's a blend of nature and nurture, body type, altitude, children running long distances to school, fierce motivation, but the physical foundation is undeniable. But the third twist changes everything about what the human body was originally designed to do. The San Bushmen of the Kalahari don't just run efficiently, they use the body as a weapon of pure endurance that reveals what our species was truly built for. Deep in the central Kalahari, anthropologist Louis Liebenberg witnessed one of the last living examples of a technique dating back around 2 million years. Persistence hunting. The premise sounds insane. A band of San picks out a healthy kudu, an antelope far faster than any human, and simply chases it on foot through open desert in the worst heat of the day, 40 degrees Celsius and beyond, with a real risk of the hunters dying of heat stroke. When Liebenberg asked to join, he was warned the heat could kill him, a decision he later said nearly cost him his life. Think about what unfolds because it reveals a hidden human superpower. The kudu is faster. Every time the men close in, it bolts away. But the antelope can only shed heat by panting, and it cannot pant effectively while running. The humans, by contrast, are doing what almost no other large animal can, sweating, cooling their whole bodies through their skin even at full effort. So the San track it at a relentless run, and every time it tries to cool down, they drive it forward before it recovers. Hour after hour, the kudu builds a lethal heat load, its tracks telling the story, its stride shortening, kicking up more sand, until it overheats and collapses, run to death by a creature slower than itself, but built to never stop. This is the foundation of the endurance running hypothesis, that our ancestors evolved into exceptional distance runners to chase prey to exhaustion in the heat. Sports scientist Tim Noakes argues humans evolved to function while dehydrated, that if our ancestors had to stop to drink, they would never have caught the antelope. Think about what the broader picture reveals when you put all three together. The Masai, with hearts that defy the deadliest diet on Earth. The Kalenjin, engineered for running the rest of us can barely comprehend. The San, using sweat and stamina to run faster animals to death. 3 peoples, 3 environments, 3 superpowers, and one truth beneath them. Each is a natural experiment that ran for thousands of years, one no lab could ever perform. The harsh demands of savanna, mountain, and desert reshaped their biology, favoring those who could meet the challenge and erasing those who couldn't, generation after generation. This is natural selection in living, breathing human beings, proof that we never stopped evolving. Then the final game-changing truth emerged, and it drops these stories directly into your own life. Heart disease is the single leading cause of death on the planet, and the Masai carry genes that regulate cholesterol in ways most of humanity cannot, a potential key to fighting it. The Kalenjin are a living laboratory for the absolute outer limits of human endurance. And the San revealed truths about hydration so profound, they overturned conventional wisdom about drinking during exercise. Wisdom so wrong that modern marathon runners have died from drinking too much water, when their own bodies were built to endure dehydration all along. These tribes aren't curiosities, they are keys. And they may be only the beginning. Africa holds some of the most genetically diverse and least studied populations on Earth, meaning the deepest secrets of what the human body can become are still buried in communities science has barely examined. One thing is absolutely certain. These three tribes, scattered across the savanna, the highlands, and the desert of Africa, have done more to expose the true range of the human body than almost any discovery of the modern era. They proved a people can eat a diet that should destroy their hearts and instead evolve a genetic defense against it. They proved a tiny population can be physically built to dominate a global sport through bodies engineered for efficiency the rest of us don't possess. They proved the human animal at its core is a relentless endurance hunter capable of running faster prey to death under a desert sun. And together, they proved the most important truth of all. The limits we accept as permanent are nothing of the sort. The savannas, mountains, and deserts of Africa still hide dozens more communities quietly remade by forces we are only beginning to understand. Peoples carrying impossible adaptations and rewritten biology, waiting for science to catch up. As genetic technology grows more powerful and researchers finally reach the populations the modern world overlooked, the Masai, the Kalenjin, and the San prove to be only the first three of many lost rewrites of our species. When the next tribe is studied and its secrets are finally understood, the story of who we are and what the human body can truly do may have to be rewritten all over again. Stay tuned.